All 16 personality types are special in their own unique ways, but this holds especially true for INFPs. Do you know how the mind of an INFP actually works? It's important to talk about how they interpret and see the world. They're inventive. Personal honesty is very essential to them. They make sure that they are not hypocritical in any way, and they make certain that their rules and principles are consistent and prioritized. Not only that, but they are also quite creative and think outside the box. But that's only the beginning. Be sure to watch until the end of the video, because today I'll be taking a deep look inside the mind of an INFP and trying to give some understanding of exactly how it works. I think you're going to be surprised by what I've discovered. Let's get into it. Welcome to Success for Breakfast, where I'm serving up brain food made simple. Hit that subscribe button to get the latest videos created to give you the tools to level up your life. To truly understand an INFP's mind, I'm taking a close look into each of their cognitive functions and how exactly they affect their mental processes and lifestyles. In case you're not aware, cognitive functions are the scientific term for different ways of processing information and making decisions based on your Myers-Briggs personality type. Each type has 4 cognitive functions out of a possible 8, which we all use in a certain order. The most accurate approach to typing for yourself or anyone else is to identify which functions you utilize, and it's an incredibly accurate way of unlocking how your mind truly works. Each one of us has a function stack, starting with the most dominant, the one we use the most, to the least. Let's start things off with an INFP's most dominant cognitive function, introverted feeling. Each type's dominant function signifies its fundamental strength or distinguishing feature. INFPs especially tend to feel alert and alive when they are fully involved in an activity that fully engages their dominant function, since they are doing what they were born to do. This function ensures that their thoughts are ethically consistent. They prioritize their personal values and moral code above all else. These values come from deep within them. They have strong feelings about things, but they don't know how to express or explain them to others. This is why these emotions are introverted. Yes, INFPs value the opinions of those close to them, such as family or close friends, but in the end, nothing beats their own personal assessments and gut instincts, and they make certain that these personal evaluations are given top priority. INFPs spend a lot of time analyzing their morals and whether or not they are focusing on their values. Living according to one's personal ideals is critical for an INFP, since it is the route to inner peace and well-being. However, because INFPs spend so much of their time attempting to figure out their identity, they despise it when someone they barely know labels them. They resent it when people think they understand their personality when they don't understand how their mind operates. Another personality trait they get thanks to the introverted feeling function is the fact that they're very aware of their emotional connections with other people. They want to understand the emotional level and understanding they have with everyone around them. Is this person safe, or are they trying to manipulate me? Can I trust them? These are some of the concerns that INFPs have, since they place a high value on genuine relationships. As a result, they want to guarantee that the emotional relationship they have with others is strong and clear. Due to their introverted feeling function, INFPs are compassionate, they're truthful, they're aware of other people's feelings, and they're emotionally supportive. And they are excellent at interacting with people one-on-one. Next up is an INFP's auxiliary or secondary cognitive function, extroverted intuition. The auxiliary function, which can likewise be well-developed and helpful, could be considered the dominant's co-pilot or sidekick. INFPs are extremely inspired by their surroundings because of this function. I mean, even something as simple as a wildflower might inspire them. They also enjoy imagining possibilities and discovering connections between different objects. Intuitively, INFPs are very interested in their surroundings and spend a lot of time absorbing knowledge from various objects and people. Not only that, but they attempt to generate abstract connections and possibilities relating to these objects. For example, if someone has extroverted sensing as a cognitive function, they may observe an apple and wonder what they could do with it right then. INFPs, on the other hand, tend to work differently due to their extroverted intuition. When they see an apple, they will not think about that specific apple. They'll consider all of the possibilities and try to come up with new ways to use apples. INFPs tend to be creative and think of all the possibilities rather than focus on the item itself. Because of their extroverted intuition, some significant characteristics of an INFP include being inventive, creative, visionary, open-minded, and very future-focused. If you've gotten some value from this video so far, please show your appreciation by hitting that like button. That signals to YouTube that you think other people could benefit from this video too. Next up, an INFP's tertiary or third cognitive function is introverted sensing. This cognitive function is often referred to as the inner child. INFPs are excellent at recalling details because of their introverted sensing function. In fact, they can connect even the smallest events to their past. For example, they can smell perfume and remember a first-grade teacher who used that same perfume. This function is also known as the relief function, since reflecting on the past feels soothing. It feels secure, perhaps because you know what will happen. And it's so relieving for an INFP to think about their past that they like recreating their prior life, whether it's by watching old movies from their youth, listening to old music they used to enjoy, or even engaging in hobbies they used to like when they were younger. INFPs like to return to those events from their past for comfort when they're stressed. However, because introverted sensing is their third function, it doesn't always have the same weight as their intuition. That's why INFPs don't place a high value on the past. Instead, if you gave them a task, they would prioritize innovation and new opportunities. Just because they felt safe in the past doesn't imply they'll stay there. They are very forward-thinking and will consider new and unique possibilities. In reality, INFPs feel bored when the past repeats itself and their lives become routine. Due to their introverted sensing, INFPs are nostalgic and reassured by familiarity. However, this also becomes a weakness because it means they are prone to repeating their negative experiences in their minds on a regular basis. But not only that, if this function becomes overly dominant and an INFP's extroverted intuition function isn't fully mature, they may become stubborn and unable to listen to new ideas. That's why it's always ideal for INFPs to strengthen their intuition rather than rely on their past. What are your thoughts on the ways in which the mind of an INFP works? What traits do you relate to the most? Be sure to leave a comment and tell me your stories and experiences. Finally, let's look into an INFP's inferior or fourth cognitive function, extroverted thinking. The inferior function is often referred to as the aspirational function. This describes what you aspire to. Yes, it's an inferior function, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have an impact on their daily lives. INFPs like developing successful action plans as a result of this function. They enjoy setting goals and devising strategies to achieve them. However, because it is their inferior function, they aren't always the best at keeping their plans structured, and they may struggle to break down a major project into tiny, manageable tasks. INFPs have a strong desire to keep all of their actions structured and orderly because this cognitive function is part of their intellect. In reality, INFPs would have excelled at preserving all of their goals and establishing an orderly plan to achieve them in an ideal environment. But sadly, the world's not perfect. In actuality, being focused and organized might be challenging for an INFP. When INFPs are giving a new task, they must plan it out. They must divide the job into manageable tasks, keep it organized, and then determine the best strategy to execute it. All of this can be incredibly daunting for an INFP to say the least. Now don't get me wrong, they do get their tasks done, but it might not be in the most efficient manner. However, the good news is that with time, this cognitive function becomes more mature, and once that happens, INFPs tend to become more organized. Because of this unique combination of cognitive functions specific to the INFP, there are a lot of misconceptions about their personality type. However, INFPs have some of the greatest advantages compared to other personality types. This video goes in depth about the incredible strengths INFPs have compared to others and how you can utilize them to your advantage.